I thought I was out, and they pulled me back in. I thought I was free. I had just finished recording my last video for the day, and then the devs dropped the fucking patch notes. Oh, these are so fucking good. And I mean that as in I'm going to fucking kill myself. These are some god-awful patch notes. Oh, Scion, yeah, cool. Samira, cool. She'll probably have an impact on the meta. He probably won't unless he turbo busted. But she's a pretty good 8AC, so we'll see. Events don't care. Blitzcrank won't change anything. Gragas, what the fuck? Why are we doing this? What have I done to deserve this, devs? Gragas has been feeling a little bit under the weather, so we're boosting up his sustain, his payoff for enemies closing. Hold on, let's just wild stats, baby. Wildstats.gg. Let's do some looking here. Huh. Huh. Check. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that bad. 30 days. Master Plus. Ranked. Win rate. Sorted by win rate. Control F. Gragas. Gargus. That's not a bad win rate. What, 23 out of 87? He's fine. Pick rate. Let's see. Let's see how bad Gragas is for pick rate. 54 out of 87. Not bad, but still not as bad as Suffering down here. But don't buff Corgi. Fuck that, man. Suffering. Suffering. Where the fuck does Jan have a 54% range? Suffering. Why are we buffing him? He does not need a buff. He is now in the turbo broken category. I hope people understand this. He is going to be so fucking ridiculous. It's gonna be so fucking annoying to deal with him. He's gonna be constant. You're just gonna you're gonna get fucking explosive cast, drunken rage, body slam, insta death. It's gonna be so annoying to deal with him. He's gonna be. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm fucking wrong. Casting him. Good nerfs, probably won't do enough. His health scaling was his problem. So I'm glad they're nerfing that. His AAP scaling wasn't the problem. He came online far enough. Doesn't change anything. It literally changes nothing. This also changes nothing. Maybe from turbo broken status, but it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. None of these are. Ooh, ooh, I like that. This is the biggest thing though. Right here. The cooldown doesn't matter. It always felt like it was good. But the biggest problem with Dredgeline is that the enemy could just walk away. Other than that, the cooldown on Depth Charge early is really nice because it means you can use it once before Dragon Fight. And the animation was a little long. I still stand by the fact that people were massively overrating Shyvana and she wasn't good, so. Wait, what? What? Why are we... This and this are troll despair. These two changes are fucking troll despair. Varus, he could use a buff, but he is going to take over the goddamn game if he doesn't. If he, he's already very good in pro play, but this might make him a little too good. He'll at least be pickable. He's kind of like a niche pick right now, I'd argue, but it's definitely good. I think that it's fine. On a more reasonable second reaction, this is definitely fine. Wukong, this literally doesn't change a single goddamn thing. 60 to 410. 25 early is a good amount, but 20 So just a general reduction by 20 doesn't change anything. This is not enough to take her from turbo carry status. The reason that she is good is because of her AP ratio. You have to nerf her AP ratio for her to be bad. That's it. Like that's how it is. 1%. I mean, good change. Helps to deal with tanks. I don't necessarily think it does a whole lot. This is the problem right here. This, and then we'll get to it later. But the system changes. Those are the problems. Demolish was already very good. I'm going to explain that. So the strategy that's very popular in SEA right now, that I think is probably going to end up being the meta, is you take your jungler and your mid laner, and as long as you have mid wave push, you run top, you take 3v1 top, you force them out under tower because otherwise they die, you proc demolish, and then you run back to get wave. And then after about 20-30 seconds, once demolishes come off of cooldown, you do it again. There is no reason to not do this. In fact, they've actually just incentivized the strategy. Demolish is very good. It's very, very good. And even if you had a problem taking towers beforehand, the only people that did were supports, who shouldn't be taking towers anyways. This is it's not a lot, especially in those first 3 minutes, but like if instead of say going right like after your first recall, right? Because most of the time on junglers you're gonna be going for Black Cleaver, Divine Thunder, or Triforce. And all of those have health items built into them, either Jarm's Fist, Kindled Gem. So you're basically getting what 30% max health. That'd be 330 extra damage. Like it's a lot. And as we'll get into later, the tower changes are god awful. This doesn't mean anything. It doesn't fucking matter. Like there's no reason to like. There's no reason this would ever be useful. I don't like. Nimbus Cloak is just too much of a niche rune to be useful. Nullifying Orb, 50% bonus, 30 AP. This doesn't change much. Like, you're just losing, like, what, 20 shielding early game? I don't think that changes enough. It wasn't super. It was really popular on the ladder, but again, you should never balance around the ladder because people around the ladder that aren't in Master Plus have no clue what the fuck they're doing. I say this as someone who is in Diamond. I'm like fucking what? I think I'm Diamond 4 or some shit. I'm around there. I think I am. I haven't been grinding too much season. But once you hit Master, people start to understand how the fucking game is supposed to be played. Pre-Master, it's fucking pug. Nobody has any clue what's going on. This reads like a choice because, especially pre-Master Plus, Nullifying Orb is really fucking popular because you just pop your ult and you sort of run away because the enemy has no idea how to focus fire. This is massive copium. I think, again, these are all my opinions. I have no fucking statistics to back these any up. But this is a god. I hate this change, right? Okay, so Mountain Dragon, I don't mind necessarily nerfing. It was very good. I think it was very good. 6 plus 3%, right? Yeah, so they just reduced it by about a quarter overall, I think, something like that. Half and then a quarter late game, but doesn't really matter. Um, this doesn't change much, I think. This one, again, it doesn't change anything. 4% to 3%, especially early. It's a big hit in the mid game. 8 to 6 is a big hit, but even then, it's still got a good amount of prio. And like, this is gonna be a fucking Pepega take. I don't think the dragons had that much prio, anyways. I think that if you were going for dragon, you were in ranked. And when you're in ranked, you have a tendency to do things that will get you the most value over the longest amount of time. Because in ranked, the games will last for 20 plus minutes, 90% of the time, especially if you're lower than Master Plus. I find that is my opinion, which I believe to be a true statement. If games are lasting longer, 20 minutes plus, and you get to the Elder Dragon consistently, then the then the dragon buffs get a lot better because you have the Elder Dragon, which buffs them all. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. This it's 40 more damage per second. I don't think it will change that much. I suppose hypothetically, like on the margins, yes, it'll make some changes, but I don't think it's that much important. 75 exhaust, like I don't know. I like exhaust as a chase down tool. I think that it's probably one of the better summoners for having multiple uses. I like it. This right here, these next four, what, one, two, three, four paragraphs are the problem. These are the fucking problems. Um, I agree with this change. I think that this change is good because what would happen a lot of times is if you get an early advantage, turret plating falls off, right? Like let's say you get an early advantage and you want to take the Rift Herald to recoup a lost amount of gold that your enemy has based on platings. In theory, you can do that, but in practice, the enemy can stall you out for 20 seconds on Rift Herald by just kind of sitting there and like forcing you off every now and then, or like walking towards you and just making you go a little bit slower and make you be really careful about how you do it. And by that time, you get to drop the Rift Herald in whichever lane you wanted to drop it into. Turret plating will have fallen. You will miss out on all that gold. That being said, this doesn't help the strategy that I mentioned earlier at all. It's still going to happen because they're going to just like this just makes it more because after you run top, you can now run mid. It's basically what I'm like once you have now gotten the Rift Herald, if you have already gotten plate gold, it's so fucking much better. The stats are just gonna you're just gonna have like you're gonna have fucking overwhelming amounts of gold. Maybe, and like this is a crackpot theory, but maybe this puts mid lane mages back in, right? Maybe you throw an AP carry mid, you fucking hyper farm them, like an AP carry that has good wave clear. Ari, Ziggs, Corki, kind of, right? Like that. Cassidon fits into that. Anybody that has really, really good wave clear, you throw them in mid, you get them roaming top, you get them fed with a fuckload of gold from Rift Herald and turret plates, and then you just let them carry the game. This is a problem. This should be the first 4 minutes. Because again, right, like I'm talking about earlier, the demolish changes make it so that turrets are so fucking easy to kill. Because the idea is that you will run top, you will hit it with demolish, you'll hit it with a few autos, boom. All three of you can hit it with like 2 autos, get the fuck out of there. And so just changing that to 2 minutes means that you can just take towers faster. This isn't like if you're gonna do this, you need to up this ratio at all. High skilled players can early go into 3v1 in the early game without significant risk. While we don't mind these plays happening in some cases, there isn't quite enough risk when making these plays. Boom. And this is if the devs are predicating this on a 2v1 or a 3v2, they are mispredicating. The idea is not that you're going to get a 2v1 or 3v2 tower dive and get a kill. That's how it was in patch 3.2, in the icons patch. The patch now, you want to get a 3v1 or a 4v2. You want to have 2 people up on the enemy. 18 damage is also not the answer, especially with how slow this is going to tick up. Since the lower, fuck, I'm not actually getting the math. So right, this is 332. 325, right? The range has been decreased, right? They took the like say like the 12 points off of this, put it in here, 194. Yeah, so 7 points. This is like 189, so they just gave it a few extra points, right? So the damage earlier is good. But once you hit about 4 minutes, it's probably doing the same amount of damage. Yeah, because if it's scaling at like I'd have to do the math on this. I'll probably post it on my Twitter later. Follow me, twitter.com/mblazikenq. Boom. This is where I'll post it once I get done with the math. Um, so this is this doesn't matter. This is also just a. It doesn't change anything. You need to make the turrets better, not make the turrets worse. The turrets are too easy to take. Unless you want this game, right? Like, these changes don't make sense from a logical standpoint for me. Because the devs have been making changes to make the games about 20 minutes. This will speed up the game because everyone takes Demolish. You run 3 top, and like, you can run 3 mid for that example too. And like, just if the jungler isn't there and has been tracked at being bought, then you get like a free 1-2k damage. Even with the 50 armor magic resist, what? That's basically what they're losing from here. So it's like it doesn't change anything. Like also just like shortening the time doesn't help. I these changes are I want to explain to people how bad these changes are because it's hard to like explain without showing. But like what people will do, especially in pro play, right? Like I'm not caring about ranked because my my statement and my point of view has always been that you should never balance around low ranks because low ranks will play what they want without giving a shit, especially if you're not like Diamond sometimes cares about the meta, sometimes doesn't. Master Plus really cares because they're actually good. Anything Diamond and below, it doesn't give a shit. I had a game in Diamond where the Shyvana just tried to like run into my jungle and spite me like and just smite steal everything. In Diamond, like these players don't know what the fuck they're doing. Don't give them power. I'm a fucking Diamond player. My micro is dog shit. Everything that I like take in outside of the game and I'm like, oh, like I should do this, I should do that. I just fucking lose it inside a game because I don't think about it. Like I'm just there to have fun. And that's what Diamond players are. When you hit Master Plus, they're playing seriously. They want to get better. And these changes inhibit that because the best strategy becomes to take Demolish and fucking run at the tower with 3 other people. It takes out strategy. It's just not a good, like, it kills strategy diversity. It's just not a good thing. Undo these changes. Make turrets do more damage. Why? 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 I'm losing my goddamn mind. Just, just, I feel total despair. That is all I feel. My heart is empty. Goodbye.